Hello everyone, and welcome to Skal Plays Minecraft. If you're a long-time fan of the channel, you may realise this is actually not the first time that I've done a Skal Plays Minecraft type thing. This is actually the third time that I've attempted to do this now. Back in the day, I had another channel that at the time was also called Scalibur. Obviously that channel no longer is called Scalibur because this one is called Scalibur, but that channel is now called Scalibur 2. If you're interested to see some of my older content, like much older content, then you can go to my channel, scroll right to the bottom on the homepage, and you will find my other channels, one of which is now Scalibur 2, which is kind of just what I use for like ship posting and testing and things like that. So yeah, but on that channel, we had a series called Skal Plays Minecraft. That was the first season of Skal Plays Minecraft. On this channel, a couple of years back, there was another series, also Skal Plays Minecraft. That series did not perform very well. I only managed to get about 5 episodes out, and then I deleted them. I don't actually have those videos anymore. They are lost to time, so I'll just show you a thumbnail on screen now. Maybe that'll jog a few memories out there, who knows. But yeah, so this time, Season 3 of Skal Plays Minecraft. Although, you know, I'm going to frame it as Skal Plays Minecraft Season 1, because there isn't a Skal Plays Minecraft on this channel at this current point in time. So yeah, welcome to Skal Plays Minecraft Season 3 / Season 1. I hope you enjoy. So, why am I all of a sudden making a Skal Plays Minecraft series? Number one, I want to make more videos, a lot more videos, and I can't pump out a Celestia update every week, and I can't even pump out a Celestia update every 2 months, apparently. But I am getting on with it. You will see some spoilers for new Celestia content while watching Skal Plays Minecraft, so I hope that will be a reason why a couple of you will come back. But yeah, I also started this world a little while ago, and it's gotten pretty good. It doesn't look it from right here, but I thought we'd start off with where I started in this world. So first of all, when I spawned in this world, I actually spawned in over on the other side of this mountain. The spawn chunks are right there. I'm currently in the process of removing everything from those spawn chunks. You can see there's a portal down there. That's been a long time job, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later today. But what I did first of all, as you do when you start a new world in Minecraft, is I found a village. Villages are the meta. If you're trying to progress through the game without using villages, you are just wasting your time. The game is not very balanced, unfortunately, and villages, even after the nerf, are still the best way of doing things, and also still the only reliable way of getting mending books. So villages are just what we use now. That's what the game is, kind of based around. It doesn't really work very well, in my opinion, and I think the game could definitely use some changes, but that's a conversation for another time. So, started off in this village. First thing I did when I got here was lock all the villagers in their homes. Well, I guess the first thing I did was actually go mining, because otherwise I wouldn't have had deep slate, would I? Over here is the first thing that I built in this village. This little wooden bridge that crosses over this ravine was actually really useful for a period of time early in the game. You see, paths do sometimes generate like that. I mean, that's useless. I don't know what that's doing for anyone. You can't actually get up from that path if you fall down there. There's 3 blocks on either side. So I built this bridge simply crossing over the ravine, which I thought looked quite nice. And it leads over to my mine shaft over here. I guess the mine was actually the first thing that I did in this world, so I'll go down here and take a look at what we've got. First thing I did was dig down to Y11, the old school height for doing strip mining, and I decided that I needed a ton of stone, and I started stockpiling that straight away. I'm not really sure what's going on with my light maps. That's darkness right there, but you can see the mobs very clearly. I don't know why. I'm gonna go over there and see what's going on. I just switched to Fabulously Optimized from Optifine. And, I mean, it's an improvement. You can tell by the fact that my zombies are working that it's a massive improvement. These haven't been working for ages now. But there are some weird features within Fabulously Optimized, unfortunately. So, there we go. Oh, look at that. Iron nuggets. We have Artibus. We'll be talking about data packs in just a moment. So after I dug out a ton of stone here, I actually went down all the way to bedrock. That is layer 57, I believe, or minus 57, I should say. And that was the point at which I started doing strip mining to get my first gold and redstone and diamonds, obviously. All the nice stuff that you need to start progressing through the mid-game of Minecraft. So the mine was a big part of my world for a long period of time, although I must say I've not used this mine in quite some time because we do now have an alternative, which is considerably better. And I'll be showing you that stuff in just a mo. But this house over here, the one that I started the video off in, this was my house for a very long time. And you can see I've not had the heart to take it down. There's a lot of villager houses here that are missing because I've just simply deconstructed them. But this house is still here, kind of a testament to my my very first living situation. At one point in the past, this room was absolutely filled with chests and barrels and furnaces and a brewing stand, which was over this water. And there was just a ton of stuff in here. It was completely crammed. And I decided one day that I had to move out, and we'll get to that in just a mo. There are still a couple of villagers locked in their houses in this village, and I'm not really sure what to do with them. Yeah, so look at this. You see, I've just removed, like, all of the blocks from the edges. Like that, and no one can get in and no one can get out. I just think it's kind of funny. Even a baby zombie can't get in. You know, he'll walk through here, and I feel like a baby zombie could get in through there. Actually, wait, what? Because a baby zombie could go like through here, and then jump, and then get there. Oh dear, I think maybe these guys are doomed. Well, if I come back one day and they've died, that's fine. I don't really care. I'm not exactly struggling for villagers, so it's not a big deal. I got my first horse over there. I say first, I'll probably never have another horse, because what's the point? You know, I have this, so I really don't need another horse. But I'm glad the sun is going down, because it means that very soon I can demonstrate one of my favourite things I've used in this world so far. So early game, having villagers in you know, little cages here is obviously a great way to go. This guy has Silk Touch and Unbreaking, and he has the Bookshelf Trade, which is still pretty good, even though it's not like completely broken anymore. I've got a Cartographer. He's not even maxed out. I should actually max him out. Ocean Explorer, Trial Explorer map. We did find a trial chamber. It's just over there. I'll show that in just a mo. And over here we've got a Mason. He's just pretty good. You know, you can trade clay and stone to get emeralds. So when I was mining quite a lot in the early game, I would just, you know, trade in a bunch of stone for emeralds, because it's like dirt cheap. And over here we have our mending villager. This was the first one that we got. You know, 1 emerald for mending. It's ridiculous. This game is so unbalanced. Obviously all of my gear has mending now, no questions asked. So as the sun goes down, I can show you one of my favourite features in this world. I don't need to convert any of these guys again. They're already doing just fine. But I'm going to convert this poor Mason anyway. If I head up here, we'll meet Eric. And it looks like Eric is actually using Turtle's skin. So thanks, Turtle. You are now Eric. So yeah, Eric is actually a very good friend of mine. He helps me to get low prices. So what happens is, when the sun goes down, I'll break one of the trapdoors in front of these lovely gents. This guy, by the way, he's already at my new base. I'll talk about that in just a moment. But yeah, as the sun goes down, Eric becomes useful. So all I have to do is go up here, pull this lever, and now Eric is like, oh, hang on. I'm free. Yeah, there he goes. And he's looking at me right now because, of course, zombies do prioritize players wherever possible. But he doesn't know I actually have a safe room over here, which I can go inside. And then once Eric realizes that he has no chance of getting to me, he's going to switch his attention to the villager just there. Eric? Eric, you're letting me down, buddy. He's supposed to see the Mason. What's going on? Eric, what's going on? Eric, what are you doing? What are you doing, Eric? Come over here. Okay, so Eric's at home. I'm going to run to the safe room, lock myself in, and now he should be close enough to see the Mason. Eric? Yeah, there we go. There, he's doing his thing. There we go. Lovely. This is actually the first time that Eric has had a zombie skin. He's had the default Steve skin for the longest time. Simply because Optifine was broken and my zombies weren't working. So once Eric's done his job, I can hop back out, and Eric will now try and hunt me once again. All I have to do is walk up here. Eric will try and get up this ladder, which he can't do because he's too little, and then I'll lock the door, and that's it. And now we converted a villager. It's pretty fun, right? I thought that was a really novel way of doing villager conversions. Oh, hello. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing for a while. It's been pretty fun. Anyway, nighttime sucks. So I'm gonna go sleep. So in about 5 minutes, this guy is going to stop shivering and shaking, and then have slightly lower prices. So that's pretty much it. That's what Eric is good for. Eric is gonna do something in the future. I haven't decided what yet. Maybe he'll just be like the guy at my villager trading hall. I haven't actually got a trading hall just yet. All the essentials that I've needed are here. Or I have two, other guys at my new place. But at some point in the future, I will be building a full villager trading hall, because it is something that every world needs. It's just a very helpful tool to have. Simple snow farm here, much more effective if I'm using my Fortune diamond shovel, but I can't be asked to get it out of my shulker box, so it's staying there. Simple sheep farm. Very simple sheep farm. I don't really need much wool, so that's just done me well for some time. Now to my next kind of fun contraption right here. This is my cow farm. obviously, I don't know why I said this is my cow farm. It's obviously my cow farm. So what happens here, if I breed the cows, if memory serves, there are 16. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so if I breed the cows, we're going to get 8 little baby cows. And what I'll do now is separate them from the adults by using a water stream. So all the cows will get pushed to this end, and the babies are small enough to fall through the gap underneath the fence. Now, it's not 100% perfect. Sometimes the babies do get stuck. You can see there's actually a little guy in there. He will eventually make his way through. I'm not really opposed to punching the adults from time to time. There we go. But yeah, so once all the babies flow through, I can cut the water supply, and they will go through this tunnel underground. Now, initially, they will try and move towards the parents, but that will eventually stop because there is an adult cow over here on this side, which they will switch their attention to when they're close enough to it. This is sounding pretty horrifying, I know, but you just stay with me, stay with me. So once all the cows are in here, they'll stand at the bottom of this chamber. You can see the signs there are holding the water back from, you know, just drowning them. And as soon as they grow up, as soon as they turn to adults, they become 1.5 blocks tall from their current state of being about a block tall, and they will have their head inside the water column above them. Now, while they're in this chamber, they never have a reason to jump, ever, so they will just stay down there. So what happens is, they stay down there, and when they become adults, they become big enough to touch the water, swim to the top of this water column, get pushed to the front, and the adult cows, so, you know, the ones that are ready to harvest, are just right here. And then I can just do that. And that's it. And that's my cow farm. It's pretty good. I was really pleased with this. I think it works really well. This isn't perfect. It could definitely use some revisions. As I said before, you know, sometimes the babies get stuck, and eventually, if I punch the adults enough, they will die because they never heal. So I do want to make a new version of this farm at some point. But I love the idea. It's so cool. Separating the babies from the adults, putting them in this holding chamber, allowing them to naturally grow up, and then eventually swim through this water column. You can see all of them have now switched their attention to the adult cow that's locked in here. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I really like this. It's a quite a fun system, and we get beef, and we get leather. Yeah, I'm definitely going to build another one of these in the future, and I hope to find a way to kick the issue of the babies getting stuck when they're being pushed over this ledge. So in the future, I'm probably going to make a bigger one of these, more cows, more babies, more kills when they get to the killing chamber. It's an idea for the future, but for now, if I've ever needed leather, coming back here and using this one from time to time is more than okay. I mean, we don't really need leather for that much. I already have, like, books, so what else do you really use leather for in this game, right? Right here, I have my first iron farm. This is the design by IronXO4. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this design. Probably not as fancy as mine with all the deep slate stuff. But if we look down this little hole here, you can see there's a zombie in a boat. And he is currently in a permanent state of terrifying these villagers. They are just constantly horrified. They never chill. They're just running around, terrified, all the time. And they spawn iron golems in the only place that they can spawn nearby, and they go in the lava and get iron, and occasionally zombies will try and get the iron golem and also end up dying. It's a good farm. It does its job. This farm generated me enough iron to make a full-scale beacon very early in the game, so it's not a bad farm at all. I mean, that was while I was living here, and it was constantly loaded, so it was very easy to just kind of wait around and occasionally check back and have like a stack of iron blocks in here. That was just a pretty typical thing to happen. I'm going to clear this out, actually, might as well whilst I'm here. But yeah, pretty good iron farm. I still have it running, because no reason not to, but we do now have a slightly better system elsewhere, and I'll be showing that one off in just a moment as well. So I've just gone ahead and looked at the first clips that I've recorded for this video, and I've realized that my sound sucks, so I'm just going to lower my master volume to like 20% for now. I'm sure I'll figure out like a good system for sounds going forward, but this is my first time recording an episode of Skal Plays Minecraft in a long time, so I hope you'll forgive me for the obnoxious sounds in the first 15 minutes of the video. However, moving on, there is a big flat area right here. This was previously where I had my farms. There was wheat, carrot, and potatoes. It's a 2x2 of each. When I say 2x2, I'm talking about the 9x9 square that you get around a single water source. They gave me a lot of wheat, a lot of carrots, a lot of potatoes. Obviously, it's a huge area. Not very fun to farm and replace everything because we still don't have right-click to harvest in survival, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, that fed the cows, which was good. All of the carrots and potatoes got traded in for emeralds. They were a very good source of emeralds early game, alongside with the stone and the clay, with the mason. And up here, when I started to realize that I might have, you know, a need for more villagers than existed within this village alone, I decided to build my first villager breeder. It's a really simple design. I've actually modified it because I believe it was maybe made for an older version of Minecraft and was broken. There were previously trapdoors all around this block here, which would prevent the villagers from getting to the composter. I think that was making their inventories permanently full because they couldn't compost the extra seeds they were getting. So it didn't work. It just didn't work. They would just eventually stop being able to make bread. Okay. I'm bad. I didn't even need to come and kill these guys. They're killing themselves. That's what the hoe is here for. I've fallen into this fucking farm too many times. So we have a hoe here. You can see by the durability how many times I've fallen into this farm. But yeah, whenever I come down here, you know, I just throw the wheat at these guys and they'll pick it up. And carry on with their day. These guys shag like rabbits. My god, you should see how many fucking villages there are in this little hole. This is so full that whenever a baby grows up in that hole, it immediately dies to entity cramming. Like, they will just not stop. They do not know how to chill. They have no chill. So it's been a pretty good farm. I would highly recommend building one of these to anyone that wants villages early game. But again, I have since built a better system, so it's not really too relevant anymore. So over here is my trial chamber. I'm not going to head down there just now because it will start activating some shit and it will just not be fun. I'm not really prepared. I'm wearing 2 pieces of netherite right now, a piece of gold and then elytra. So I'm not really prepared for a trial chamber. Even without the bad omen, they're still pretty tough. Like if you're fighting against the bogged and the what are they called? The wind blaze, the gales, the breeze. They're called breeze. Breeze has killed me once. That's interesting. Maybe it was by fall damage. Probably by fall damage, to be honest. But yeah, trial chambers are pretty good. They're actually the reason why I started this world. At the time that trial chambers came out, I wasn't really playing Minecraft. To be honest with you, I haven't really been playing Minecraft for a while now. But I wanted to experience them. I wanted to see what trial chambers were like. So I decided to make a new world just to find one. And would you believe it? I got a cartographer villager. And the nearest one is right here, so it was very convenient. So that pretty much sums up everything that I wanted to go over in this first area that I originally lived in. However, there are quite a few more things that I would like to show you in this world before we do wrap up today's episode, and for that we're going to have to step into the Nether. There's a new game rule, or relatively new game rule, where you can actually change the amount of time it takes to travel through a portal, and I love it. Hugely good change. Absolutely love it. 1 second, whoop, done. Straight through the Nether like that. I can go back through, whoop, done. Straight through. And I can come out and go back through again, whoop, done. I love it. It's so good. One of the best game rules they've added in recent years by far. Absolutely brilliant feature. Fantastic. So here we are in the Nether. We go straight to the Nether ceiling, as I'm sure you can probably expect. This is typically how the Nether plays out. I have already had a bit of experience with ice roads. We have some which have been removed and moved. We have some ice roads which are, you know, currently in that state right there where it's just ice and soul sand. Some do have the rails on them already, although I'm thinking of switching these out to gold rails in the future, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But over here, this tunnel right here leads to my first ever place where I got packed ice. I don't actually use this tunnel anymore because we found somewhere closer to get packed ice from, which is really helpful, and also frozen oceans with those magical blue icebergs as well. But yeah, this is how I jump down into my Nether typically. You can see down there, that's where I've been getting my lava from. Is that a strider? Poor guy, look at him. He's just stuck down there. So before we start using the ice roads, I actually want to show you just something really quick before we head out into the rest of the Nether. Over here we have my way of getting netherite. This goes all the way down to the very bottom of the world. I'm still kind of looking for a better way of moving up and down in the Nether because this is not really the most convenient option. Actually, come to think of it, I could maybe use portals, actually. Because if I have portals in a relatively convenient place in the overworld, maybe I can use those for that? Bam, but there we go. So we have these like double ladders set up at the bottom here so we can drop down and not take any fall damage without water, which I think is quite nice. I got my respawn anchor here, which is rather convenient. And of course, at this point, I have already mined out quite a bit of the nether. We have tons of netherite. The only reason why I haven't converted my tools to netherite just yet is because I haven't textured them in Calesti. That's it. I hate the appearance of the vanilla tools so much, and I refuse to upgrade my tools until I do them. You know what, though? Now that I mention it, I'm probably going to get around to texturing netherite tools quite soon because I realized there is a huge benefit to upgrading my tools. I mean, higher durability would be brilliant, higher mining speed, higher damage. I mean, there is a very good reason to upgrade these to netherite, and they're fireproof, of course, which would be very nice. Getting back to the top is much easier. I just use fireworks, take my elytra off, and then I'm up here. It's pretty simple. But yeah, that's how I've been getting netherite. If we head over this direction, we'll find the very middle of the nether, and by middle I mean, you know, these ice roads are centered on 0, 0, which makes it very easy to stretch out in each of these 4 cardinal directions. If something is, you know, in the direction of the north, I'll just simply point to the north and we'll go that way, and so on and so forth. This road is currently closed off because, as I mentioned before, this is in the direction of where I was previously getting packed ice. That is the only portal in that direction, and I don't use it anymore. So just to make my life easier when I'm barreling down this tunnel at ridiculous speeds, I've put this block here so that I don't simply, you know, shoot down there and have to turn around and come back. In the future, however, I'm thinking of replacing this middle section with something which is not an ice road, so I can simply get to the middle, step out of my boat, change direction, and then go from there, which I don't think will be a bad sacrifice at all for the risk of constantly coming down these tunnels and just going in the complete wrong direction. This portal right here links up to the one which is by the spawn chunks. It's how I've been getting there quite conveniently. Previously, I was actually just going to the portal over there and then just using firework rockets to fly over the hill, and then I was like, well, why am I doing that? Just put a portal down. It's easier still. First place we're going to go down this way is to our new base of operations. For a little bit of context, I used to play quite a bit of Skyblock back in the day, so my building style and base style, I kind of wanted to reflect that a little bit, I guess. You'll understand what I mean in a minute. But before we go a bit back into the overworld, this is where the iron golems at my new iron golem farm are being killed. They come through the portal, and they will eventually just kind of dozily walk over in this direction because they believe they can stand here with ease. And then, of course, they fall in the lava and die. And this is much better than the previous one. It's much faster. It has 4 times the amount of villagers as the first farm that I showed off, so it is just naturally a much faster farm. It started working really well recently, and I think it's only because simulation distance has been turned up. Yeah, so simulation distance of 12 chunks. I don't know if maybe that works differently because I'm using Fabulously Optimized, which now seems a bit cheaty, but this farm was broken. And then I checked it today and I was like, whoa, it's working. What? Why? But yeah, I mean, I'm happy about it. I'm not complaining. So without further ado, here's where I live. It's a bit weird. I'm going to talk through just about everything here. So the reason why this base came around was because I got my elytra. And elytras are fantastic. So what do I need with elytras? I need a creeper farm, and my creeper farm is excellent. It's a good source of XP. It's obviously a brilliant source of gunpowder. It's actually full, which is great. So we'll be using that gunpowder for something fun sometime soon. Here I have my 2 villagers. They're kind of just standing around right now. They don't really know what they're doing with their lives. I have barrels here full of pumpkins and melons. And usually what I'll do at the moment is just trade all the way and get myself some golden carrots. I'm currently working towards a food shulker box, which you can see here. I'm just completely loading this up with golden carrots as quickly as I can. We're actually very nearly there. Once that's been done, I'm going to stick this shulker box in my ender chest, and then we'll have an infinite source of food to hand at all times, which will be very, very nice. Before I show you anything else, I think it's probably worth heading over to my central storage area and taking a little nap, just so that we don't have the terrible darkness of night whilst we're doing this. But we'll start from this end of the base since we're already here. So this is my current storage room. It's pretty basic. I kind of kitted it out with the expectations that I would be doing a lot more than I really thought I would. How many double chests here? So we've got 16, 32, 64, 128 double chests in this very small area, and I've organized it quite nicely. You can see over here I've got like valuables. You know, currently we don't have much gold. I say we don't have much gold, that's nearly 9 stacks of gold. We don't have a lot of gold yet, so I haven't found a reason to give it its own unique chest, but I will do at some point in the future. Here we have like weird new shit, I guess. I've got like sniffer eggs and pottery shards and armor trims and chainmail, like weird rare things that don't really fit anywhere else. I've got like tools and equipment, and I've got crafting materials. You know, I've organized everything in a decent way, in a way that I understand. But obviously I made this storage room quite big and there wasn't really a need for it. And now I've run into weird other issues, such as the fact that, you know, if I have a lot of stone, where do I now put it? Do I make a new stone chest here? No. I have an idea for this as well, and we'll come back to that in the future. But yeah, everything's stored here. Look at my ore chest. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? How much copper is there? I'm just looking at this now. It's mostly copper. I want to see how much copper... Okay. That's a lot of copper. That's a lot of copper. So in terms of the actual organization of all of these things, I've kind of organized these into categories. It's very loosely categories, but I'll explain my thought process now. So I've got like valuables over here. I've got building things over here. This is like workstations, I guess. There's like scaffolding, ladders, beds, lanterns, like building things, I guess. We have bricks here, like kind of leftovers for when I've had to craft bricks for whatever project I'm using bricks for. I've got glass, because we're going to have a lot of glass in the future. I have a big plan for cyan glass. I have a redstone chest, which is like my favorite chest here. Fucking love redstone. It's so sick. Over here we have mob loot. I've got like the typical mob loot chests at the top here. We've got rotten flesh, bones. We've got spider loot, which has the eyes as well. Gunpowder, which is practically full because of course we have the gunpowder farm over there. Blaze rods and also breeze rods as well, because they don't really justify having their own chest just yet. I have flowers down here, which is actually kind of in an odd place now I think about it. Maybe I should move the flowers up to these two chests. I should definitely do that. I'll do that in my own time. But we have a chest here dedicated to just poppies because of the iron farm, because we're going to get a lot of poppies. And then we have like a generic chest here, which is for other things, essentially. We have saddles, horse armor. We have food stuffs, which is actually where I'm going to put the steak now I think about it. And we have animal drops here as well. So I've got like leather, rabbit hide, feathers, all of the stuff that you'd associate with like passive mobs. So there's quite a bit of organization going on here. We've got wood, we've got natural blocks, we've got mining, we've got like overworld natural blocks. We've got like ice for ice roads and nether materials and farming and a few end chests down here. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. I use this storage room for everything now. It's very helpful. I remember where everything is. And of course, we've got like the crafting table and all of the workstations that I would need for everything that I typically get up to. Here I have my good armor. If I'm ever going to do a trial chamber or a wither fight, I've just got like my maxed out netherite armor. Each of these is as you'd expect, except for the fact that I don't currently have swift sneak. And I do actually have Thorns 3 on my chest plate, because chest plates have a ton of durability. So I figured it doesn't really matter if I have thorns on my chest plate. So moving out into the rest of the base, we'll first look at my brewing area. This brewing area really speaks to how much I realize that I'm not going to stay at this base now. I think it really should. There was a point in the past where I was really keen on living here. My plan was to have like floating islands throughout this ocean biome. So I'd have like an island over there for the trees, and this would be my main island with my storage room and my gunpowder farm. You can kind of envision like the giant floating island that encompasses that, right? And I might still do that for the gunpowder farm one day, because it's probably going to be the only thing left here eventually. But that was the plan. I was going to have a giant archipelago of floating islands over this ocean, and I thought it was going to look absolutely sick. But I've changed my mind. I'm not going to do that anymore. That's not currently the plan. So when it came to things like having to brew potions to crack on with the ocean monument, which is down there, I decided to kind of just botch it and say, well, I just need brewing stands, so I'm just going to do a basic setup here. I've got my very simple nether wart farm. I don't think I've ever harvested this. Come to think of it, I have more than enough. That's enough potions to last me years, so I'm good. But yeah, it's simple. It does the job. Over here, I've got furnaces. I really like these like auto smelters. I'm a big fan of them. I actually have lava buckets in these shulker boxes, and I swapped these out for the ones in my ender chest here. That's why you could see that like patch of missing lava in the nether before. And I'll use these for all sorts of things. Most recently, sponges. I've also been using them for like nether brick, because we have an abundance of netherrack. There's actually a ton of glass in there waiting for me as well, which is great. And of course, we have some regular furnaces and the coal here, in case we ever need to do anything on a smaller scale as well. So when you have gunpowder for rockets, what else do you need? You need sugarcane. Hooray! We have lots of sugarcane. Far too much sugarcane, frankly, so I never really need to use this farm. A long-term plan for all of the farms in this base was to have them automatically activate every 5 minutes, so that before items were able to despawn, the minecart would be, sent out to pick them up and gather them and come back and empty them into this chest right here. I did at one point have a hopper clock hooked up to this and another farm, and then I removed it, and then I put it back, and now it's only on the pumpkin and melon farm down there, but I'll get to that one in just a second. Up these stairs, we have a nice view of our wheat farm that I've never harvested. We have an automatic bamboo farm, which is pretty sweet. It's actually ready to go, so I'm going to send the minecart out. I typically just press the buttons if I'm running past these things and just make sure I get all the items. I really like this farm. It's really, I'm hoping to see it in action now. Oh, there it was. Yeah. I waited far too long for that. Okay, send the minecart out again. So the way this works is really awesome. It uses slime. So whenever the observers see that the bamboo has grown to, I think it's like 10 blocks tall or 12 blocks tall, it will trigger this piston, which pushes this redstone block down, which activates this piston, which breaks the bottom of the bamboo. And then, of course, it goes up. And when the top block breaks, it updates again, and the piston fires a second time for no reason, which is kind of annoying, but never mind. It does work, so I do like it. Pretty simple bamboo farm. It's gotten a lot of bamboo, and there isn't that much use for bamboo in Minecraft, so it's not the end of the world. This is a nice bee farm. You can see my lovely Celesti bees, which are very small and very cute. Generates a fucking ton of honey. I'm actually backed up on honey right now, so I'll need to empty this thing at some point. But yeah, honey is very easy to farm. I never realized it's very easy to farm. Over here, we have a wonderful contraption, which I will be showing you in a minute. I've been waiting to show this off for so long. I love it. I've not seen anything like it on the internet, and I want to show you in a minute, but we'll come back to that one last, I think. Over here, we have my updated villager breeder. It has 2 levels, and it appears to work much better than the one I built over at spawn. All of the villagers will collect in this area in the corner. However, it's currently switched off, and I'll show you just how it goes about being switched off. It's a bit of a cruel system, frankly. So over here, I built a fun little contraption, which is essentially a T flip-flop for whether or not this farm is activated. When the villagers are babies and it turns nighttime, they will try and run to beds, which are in this back left corner, and they will basically fall down and burn to death, and that's how they die. It's pretty fucked up, really. However, if I want the farm to be operational, I simply pull this lever, and of course, the fire is still there, but now a block has been put above it, and a dispenser shoots out a piece of water, which then pushes the villagers down a canal there, which, you know, takes them up to the surface, and they get ready for whatever it is I want to use them for. The reason why that is fire and not lava is kind of insane. If you see when that changes over, for a split second, the water actually flows down, and the lava becomes obsidian. However, because the water only lasts for a single tick, if there's fire here, the fire doesn't convert to anything, and it doesn't get extinguished either. So it has to be fire, and it's currently sitting on a block of netherrack, I believe. Yeah, so it's just fire on netherrack. So that was originally lava, and then it turned to obsidian. So fire works better, I guess. It was a weird thing to have to figure out. But yeah, so currently that villager farm is pumping out villagers at an insane rate, and they all just burn to death. So that's kind of fun. Over here is my pumpkin melon farm, and it really shines a light on the fact that I've never gotten around to texturing the melon stems. I really must do that soon. The pumpkin stems are so much more complicated and so much more beautiful, and I really do like them. This one is not actually activated by button press. I can activate it by button press whenever I want to, but I don't need to because it's the only one here that has a hopper clock. The reason why this one has a hopper clock and not the sugarcane farm is because I am going through pumpkins and melons at an insane rate because of these guys right here. So this one does have a hopper clock for a good reason, but it's what you'd expect. You know, the minecart goes down and it goes back and forth underneath the farm and collects all the items as you'd expect, and they get deposited inside this chest right here. So this farm is working pretty well. The amount of melon and pumpkin that generate are like more than enough to keep up with the villagers' demands. If I'm being on it with the villagers, I can easily trade like multiple stacks a day. Last thing to show is down this corridor. This is my egg farm. It's very simple. It's just chickens laying eggs, and that's it. So not a very complicated one. But what I can do is take this shulker box and apparently 16 eggs, which were just sitting there, and I can take it over to this machine, and we can see what that one is used for. So what I have to do is place shulker box on top of the hopper here, and the eggs will flow into this dispenser, and then I can activate this clock, and this happened. So this farm makes use of the new potion effect, the potion of oozing. In this case, I'm going to use a splash potion of oozing. I'm going to put it into the dispenser up top there, trigger the dispenser for just a second, and now all of those baby chickens are, well, they're oozing, aren't they? So over here, I have a button press, which will fire down essentially a blade of lava, which will slowly move down to the chickens, and then they die, and the slimes die, and they glitch out of the glass for some reason, and then there we go, we have a bunch of slimes. It's not perfectly efficient. In fact, it's kind of the opposite of perfectly efficient. I think it wastes, like, most of the slime, to be honest. But I love it. It's so fun. I don't know why I've never seen anyone do this before. Probably because it's not very efficient. But it's fun, right? It's a fun farm. I think someone already took that name idea. I experimented with the idea at one point of using a wind charge to open this trapdoor so that the chickens would fall out and then, you know, it wouldn't be as wasteful. But of course, because the trapdoor still has this, like, ledge on this side, a lot of them would just get, well, like, half of them would still be stuck up there, so it didn't really make a difference. So, still looking for ideas for how to improve this. Maybe just a piston would also do the job, but then the lava would continue moving down, if not for some sort of barrier here. So yeah, it's I don't know what to do with this, to be honest. Now, it works. It doesn't, you know, work terrifically well, but it's it's pretty fun. I like it. So from this angle, you can hopefully see what kind of a plan I was going for the floating islands idea. The creeper farm and the nether portal over there would be in one island. There would be a bridge leading between that and the main island, which would be this like longer, thin island. And of course, down there we have the tree farm island, and up here we would have had the iron golem farm island as well. This is my new iron golem farm. It's pretty good. There's a zombie on either side bobbing up and down in a water column fueled by soul sand right there, and that means, I believe that means that the zombie's constantly in and out of sight of the villagers that are in each corner, and there's 3 villagers in each corner. They will try and spawn iron golems in the central area, where the iron golem will pretty much straight away teleport into the nether. There are actually so many nether portal blocks here that we get quite a few... perfect timing. We get quite a few zombie pigman spawns as well. So as soon as an iron golem spawns, he'll get angry at the zombie piglins, and then he'll try and fight them, and we'll also get a tiny bit of gold and rotten flesh out of this farm as well. So I guess this is technically an iron and gold farm, just because of the fact that it uses portals. But I could definitely use an actual gold farm, and honestly, I know that the donut farms in the nether, you know, above the nether ceiling using like magma blocks and stuff like that, I know they're ridiculously efficient and they're pretty good for XP as well, but I've always been a fan of overworld gold farms. I think that they're kind of good, and as a result, I've been collecting obsidian like it's nothing. I've been in the end, I have a full beacon set up there right now, and I've been just taking apart the pillars bit by bit, you know, stick some music on, stick a video on, whatever, and just mine away the obsidian with haste 2. And we have a lot of obsidian now, so I've kind of been preparing for a while to get ready to make an actual gold farm in the overworld. I've got a design prepared in my super flat world, my test world, and it's pretty good, so we're going to build that very soon. I was going to build that here in this base, and it was going to be, you guessed it, another floating island, but I've since decided not to live here. That decision was fueled by the fact that when I am over here in my central storage room, I'm actually so far away from the iron farm over this way that it doesn't seem to work. And this is why I was confused before, because it seems to have suddenly started working, and I don't really understand why. So I'm going to check. I'm interested to see if it's had any success recently. Yeah, look at this! There's like 3 here! That's great! How much iron have we got now? Fucking tons! Why is it working so fast all of a sudden? You know, I really don't understand what's happened here. Maybe it just hadn't kicked in before? Or something like that? I don't know. But this is working really well. This is actually a really reliable source of iron now. Well, I guess I'm just going to continue using rails for the hub, because we have so much iron. What difference does it make? When I discovered that this iron farm wasn't working, which is before it suddenly started working, I was looking at different ideas for how to go about doing an iron farm. And something that came to mind was the fact that iron farms do, of course, work in the spawn chunks. And that is exactly why the spawn chunks were something that I wanted to do in this world. And by do, I mean remove, so that we could get maximum spawns within the spawn chunks. So here we are at the spawn chunks. The spawn chunks as of Minecraft 121.4, or around about 121 something, have been a 2x2 chunk area. So this is actually only 4 chunks that I've been slowly removing from the world. It's currently down to Y level 0, and I've just very recently gotten to this point now where, you know, obviously we've hit deep slate, and deep slate cannot be instant mined with any tool, with any enchantment, with any level of haste. So it's kind of slowed things down quite a bit. Whenever I find a pocket of tuff or diorite, it's just great. It's like, okay, suddenly I can go back to mining like it's stone. But yeah, it's become quite a slog, unfortunately, and I think this might be what we use the gunpowder for, but I'm not going to do that in today's episode. I'll save that for a future one. So before I finish up today's episode, there are 2 more locations that I want to show you, the first of which I've only just built the ice road to, hence why it's not got any rails, but this is the location that I plan to move to in the not so distant future. This is the new base location. So I was flying around and I found a pretty nice spot. I really like it here. I'm going to wait for the terrain to load for a second. Hello. I'm going to wait for the terrain to load for a second before I explain why. So here we are. I don't really have any sort of idea of what I want to call this place or even do with this place just yet, but I've done quite a bit of exploration around my world, just kind of flown off in each of the cardinal directions and see if I could find a mushroom island, to be honest with you, which I'm still yet to find. But while I was flying around, I came across this place, and I think it looks absolutely stunning. It's kind of like a valley in between a savanna and a cherry grove. There's a village over there in the sunflower plains. I just think it looks really fucking nice, to be honest with you. So I put my portal down just there, and my plan is to stretch forward into this area and have like kind of a village, I guess, like a collection of buildings for each of the things that I need. There's a good number of reasons why I want to live here. First plan, remove all the flowers, trees, pumpkins, and water from this area. Second plan, convert this cave entrance in the back into kind of an aesthetic mine. I've always just had my mines in Minecraft be a staircase down in front of you, and there will be some element of that here, but when we have this massive cave entrance with the dripstone, why not use it for something, right? So I'm kind of thinking that we could do something interesting with this. But yeah, just a huge area, an absolutely huge area, surrounded by beautiful biomes. I think it's going to be really awesome to live here, and it's not too far away from everything, so the boat journey here isn't too bad either. Speaking of boat journey, there is one last stop on today's list of locations to visit. There are a number of other places that I do want to show you in this world. As I mentioned before, there's the Wither Skeleton Farm, or the Nether Fortress within a Soul Sand Valley, which will eventually one day become a proper Wither Skeleton Farm. But before we see that, we're going to head over to the end, and I'm going to show you my Enderman farm. It's a very simple design. I believe this is also by Shulkercraft. Shulkercraft and IronXO4 have just been like a huge help with the basic farms that I want to make in this world. At some point in the future, I do want to design my own farms. I think there's a great deal of fun in doing that. But yeah, Enderman farm. If my tools are ever in disrepair, which currently they're absolutely fine, I can just, head over to here, grab my sword, hold the tool that needs to be repaired, and I'm absolutely fine. This is how I've been getting all my enchantments, how I've been repairing my tools, and it is very loud here, so I am not staying here. But yeah, before we leave the end, it's probably worth just showing that's kind of where all the obsidian has come from. Simply set up a full tier beacon made out of emeralds gotten from the farmers that we have over at the new base. And I've just been slowly chipping away at one of these towers. I will start on one of the other towers soon. Oh, I already did. Yeah, so there's one of the smaller ones over there that I've already had a go at. But yeah, some of these bigger towers, though, they're going to come down as well. My plan is to basically remove each of these towers, put the obsidian into the overworld gold farm, and then respawn the dragon and get a few more of these end gateways going. So thank you so much for watching episode 1 of Skal Plays Minecraft. I hope you guys enjoyed this different episode compared to the usual format going forward. We're not going to have 45-minute episodes of this series very often. It's going to be a rarity, I imagine, or maybe just never happen at all. But I really wanted to show you guys around the world and give an idea of what I've been doing so far. So in terms of the world, let's talk about the data packs. First of all, I do have Durability Ping. It's an incredibly helpful data pack, which has saved my tools many a time so far. I have Fast Leaf Decay. Fast Leaf Decay is also awesome. Fast Leaf Decay started out as a modded Minecraft thing, where, it's as though leaves just have an incredibly high random tick speed. We can now do that in vanilla, thanks to Vanilla Tweaks' fantastic data pack. I don't know how Vanilla Tweaks did that data pack. I really don't. It's excellent. But yeah, they did it. So we can just have that in vanilla Minecraft now, which is so awesome. I also have graves as well, or gravestones, I guess you could say. I do think that deaths in this game are a little bit too brutal. Oh, fuck you, blah. I say as I almost kill myself by slamming into the side of my storage room. The last Vanilla Tweaks data pack I have installed is Coordinates HUD. It's just the thing that you can see on the title bar at the bottom of the screen there. I think that's super helpful. It just saves me from having to open this ridiculously huge F3 screen all the time to simply find my coordinates up at the top here. They're just displayed right in front of me all the time, which is super convenient. I can't really think of what else you'd ever need to open this screen for, so typically I don't have to. Unless I'm looking for, like, the biome, maybe? But that's about it. I'm not really sure. What day are we on? Day 399. God damn. The only other data pack I have installed is obviously Artibus. Artibus is my own design. I really like the changes within Artibus. It's the data pack that allows us to, smelt like block of raw copper into block of copper. Things like that. Just convenient recipes that I believe should be in the base game. Or maybe not should be in the base. They don't really fit the aesthetic of the base game, to be fair. I mean, it's like really inconsistent compared to every other furnace recipe. But I think it's a good change. So, of course, I'm going to put it in the game. So yeah. So 5 data packs in total: Durability Ping, Fast Leaf Decay, Gravestones, Coordinates HUD, and Artibus. I want to see this happen now, so I'm going to sleep. Day 400. What am I doing in my life? Day 400! Oh, that's not really something to be proud of, is it? Never mind. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed episode 1 of Skal Plays Minecraft. Do tune in next time. We're going to do some much more interesting things. I'm hopefully going to get on with the spawn chunks next episode, maybe get building some TNT with that excess gunpowder that we have lying around, and build some more iron farms. So that could be a fun thing to do for episode 2. What do we use a massive amount of iron for? I mean, I have some ideas in mind, but maybe we'll start building the new base or something like that. I don't know. I've got a few ideas in mind. Episodes of this series might be more consistent from now on. They might be really rare. I don't know. I don't care. Just stick around, and I'll keep doing stuff, I guess. So yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, and bye bye.